Sneemaster!
Hey everyone, Sneemaster here, just giving a brief review of the Drake Caterpillar in Star Citizen. Here we are in the pilot seat. You can see we have plenty of heads-up displays and MFDs and excellent visibility from the seat. Left, right, forward, up. Do have a little bit of lower visibility, but not quite as much. We are in the command module here, which controls the ship. It has 4 pilot control weapons, and these ones are 2 S3 and 2 S2 gimbaled weapons. You can see there's also 2 external turrets manned, which are S4 turrets. The command module itself has 2 size 1 shields, and the Caterpillar itself has 1 large shield as well. Here I'm showing you all the doors and hatches and everything that opens up. So if you notice, there's 4 cargo bays, and then a front bay, which can be used for cargo or ground vehicles, hover vehicles. The 4 bays are modular, so you can load whatever you like into them eventually once they create the modules. There is also an elevator in the back for the crew to enter the ship from as well. You can barely see it, but there's an EVA hatch up on top, which is not functional yet, but it will be. There's also 2 tractor beams, one on the wing on the right side, and one where the command module is. And those you can use to load cargo on either side of those containers, the cargo bays. There's also 4 large engines, and lots of little thrusters. Here we're closing all the doors. Now we're moving around. The ship itself is not very fast. It can move up to about 97 units of speed, which is not very quick. You can use thrusters, and boost, but it'll only help so much. It's not super maneuverable either, because it is a pretty big ship. But it is a tough ship, with 1 large shield, plus whatever armor is built into the hull. Here I'm flying this close to the little landing pads in the free fly mode, so I can show you the scale and perspective. Now, the reason the Caterpillar is called the Caterpillar is because of all the landing gear. Because it's so long and thin, the landing gear helps keep it stable once it does land. And all those legs, look like a caterpillar.
Landing gear up.
Here we're carefully flying close. Takes a bit of maneuvering to get into the right spot. We certainly can't land on those pads, we're too large for them. So you can see it's a pretty big ship. Those little landing pads cover just barely part of the ship. The engines have amazing sound on this ship, turning on and off, running them. So anyway, we're going to get out and I'll show you the rest of the ship. So here's the co-pilot seat. He's also got the same sort of displays that the pilot does, well, for the most part. Maybe not some of the HUD, but the MFDs and everything. We also have 2 support seats. These are mostly for also backup engineering things, controlling shields, scanners, that sort of stuff. Now we're still in the command module, so we're going to go down to the bottom floor of the command module. There's 2 floors. Here we have a bathroom, which is a combination toilet, sink, and shower. For some reason it's missing the door, and looks a little grimy. And for some reason the toilet see it won't pop out. But they're going to update the ship eventually later. So we'll see if they fix that. And it's got 2 beds in the command module. Probably more for hot bunking. It does have a cooking system, a stove, and it's got a sink to the right of that. It has a little table with a view screen, which is not functional at the moment. There's a gun locker over there. This is a door that leads out eventually, but it doesn't function yet. But once the command module is separate, we'll be able to get that. And this view here is where the tractor beam controls are for the left side. Right now it's just extra engineering screens, but later on you'll be able to control the tractor beam to load all the cargo bays on the left side. Legal or illegal cargo up, especially the way Drake does things. The view is great, especially downwards view. So if you need help landing, helps have a buddy down there to take a look, give you guidance. Now we're going to leave the ship here, the command module, into the main part of the ship. If you notice, these have airlocks. This whole area is an airlock here too. And it leads to the right side, almost like a cupola, with its own tractor beam for loading on the right side of the ship, once they implement the tractor beams. The view on this right side is amazing. So it gives you a good view front and back of the ship, at least on the right side. So we're going to go down to the EVA hatch. Eventually when they unlock it, we'll be able to exit and enter the ship from there as well. Sometimes derelict caterpillars you can enter in that way. Now here's the main cargo bays. As I said, there's 4 of them. Doors open up on each side. We're on the upper catwalk. There's controls both up in the catwalk and down below for opening the doors on either side. Here we're opening up on that side. Now eventually these doors will be able to drop down as well, so you can enter them from the ground, but currently they do not, they just go horizontal. So once the physics grids are all set up properly and everything like that, then that should work. And you have a good view of the command module from this side. So you can see where the tractor beam emitter controller is. And each of these modules are separated by their own airlocks. So you can sort of, have different modules in each thing. So you can have cargo in one, open the other one to space without affecting the other modules. And they are expecting to have all sorts of different modules. Passenger modules, med bays, cargo vehicle modules, all sorts of things. Probably troop transports, we'll find out. And the front, we have the front controller up on the upper level. That opens the front door. There is also some vehicle landing pads there. So if you have like a little hover vehicles or ground vehicles. And that front door should eventually lower down as well once they implement that. The door's pretty cool. Here's the front upper turret. Now, each of these big turrets has 2 size 4 weapons on them, so it's pretty powerful. And the capacitors are huge, so you can just keep on shooting for days. Well, not literally, but it feels like that. It does a lot of damage. So this is great for taking out fighters or anyone that tries to attack the ship. And if you notice, it has great view and position all around the ship. So frontwards, you can aim sort of downwards, but on the sides and back, you can aim pretty much just about everywhere except for the lower areas. And these are pretty fast guns, but you can change the turrets with something else if you want it. I recommend laser repeaters, especially against fighters. Now we're going to head on down to the lower floor. And in the lower floor, I'll show you the rest of the ship. Now, as I said, there's door controls on the lower floors as well. So you can get up close to see how these doors and gantries open and function. Here's the front bay. It's cool the way the door sort of moves forward first and then opens up with hydraulics and everything like that. Some of the sounds are missing though, but it might be because we're in space here. Normally you can hear the hydraulics, all that stuff going. And there you can see that little upper ledge we were at earlier next to the turret. And if you notice all of these areas, yep, they have airlocks between each one. So you don't lose air in case one area is opened or punctured. And here's the main crew quarters. Here's the mess hall, well, eating area at least. Sit down and eating table. There's the burners and sink for cooking. There's another one of those weird funky combo bathroom shower things. Still missing a door, but that's what the toilet looks like when it's deployed. Still not functional, but we'll see in the future. There's the shower head. It's also got 2 more bunks here. So 4 people can be sleeping at a time, 2 in here and 2 in the command module. On this left door, there's a gun rack over here as well. Here's the main elevator that goes down for crew to enter and exit. Now, technically, you're supposed to be able to also use the control panel on this right side to raise and lower the thing, but it's not always functional for some reason. See, I went around here to try to reach the controls, but I couldn't, so just jumped on down. Woohoo! I love the hinges and hydraulics and everything on these. It's great. Okay, now this is leading further back into the ship. This is the engine room. So if you notice, these lead to the 2 side engines. The giant rounded side engines. With a bit of steam or something coming out. And those lead to the 2 rear facing engines. Here's an engineering station. So you can do all sorts of engineering like things. And eventually they'll activate things like fire control, for smoke and fire. And opening and closing doors, things like that. But right now, we're still somewhat limited in what we can do here. We do have power and shields and guns and stuff like that though. You can control at least the max power levels, increase or decrease it. Now there's 2 ways out of here. There's a ladder up and then a door on the right that leads up as well. But we're going to take the ladder first. Now this leads to the back of the ship. Now if you notice there's mentions of small storage things and stuff like that. So we'll see in the future if they allow us to store things here. There's components that eventually we'll be able to access. Storage, all that stuff. Now here is what I think is the hyperdrive or the shield. Can't remember which, Juno Star work. But it's one of the 2. So this is where we can do work on that as well. Or change it out. Now there's 2 doors here leading out of this room on this side. They both technically lead to this computer server room. And if you notice, looks like a component thing here on this side we'll eventually be able to reach. And server racks here, which, if you know, there are server blades we'll eventually be able to put in to automate certain things with the system. Either improve the scanning, or automate the turrets, or do different things like that. So, we'll see how that goes. Now we're back up here to this upper level. That's where those stairs led to. And I'm going to take you down again because there's one other door we missed, which is the lower turret. This is sort of like a Thunderbird style turret, you know, sort of flip around, go upside down. Whoa, hope you don't get space sick. Now, if you notice, yeah, we're upside down. But it gives you excellent lower visibility. (180 degrees). 360 turning. Just remember you're upside down, so everything you're doing is sort of backwards. We'll see if they keep it upside down or not. I'm not sure, but it is pretty cool anyway. And that's, well, pretty much most of the ship there. You know, we've gone through pretty much everything. It's a functional ship, just needs a real big update to it, though. So we'll see what they do in the future for changing the ship. Some of the textures are older and things like that, but I really like the ship. I enjoy it. I have one myself. So that's it for the Caterpillar. I hope you've enjoyed the review, and maybe you'll fly one these days. See ya.